What's up, everyone? So if you follow me, you probably know that I'm a little passionate about the quality of the thoughts and the quality of the decisions that we make. My favorite quote is the quality of the questions that we ask dictates the quality of the life that we live. So, you ready for a little story time? Back when I was 13 years old, a little less gray, slightly more hair, my mom was diagnosed with stage 1 cancer, and it was a game changer for me. I grew up in the Midwest, and we didn't talk about emotions, which eventually led me on to being infatuated on how to utilize emotions instead of emotions really dictating and controlling us. Because when I was 13, I was ridden with fear. I didn't understand what cancer was, and most people still today don't really understand what cancer is and how it comes to its fruition. But we're not going to talk about cancer today. We're actually going to talk about how we started asking quality questions and getting quality feedback. And that was my journey. I kept saying, I watched my mom go through chemotherapy, radiation, all these different pills, and literally from this little boy, I saw her do worse with her treatments than she actually did against cancer by itself. And it just blew my mind that I'm like, I couldn't help her. And I couldn't give her any advice. I was literally almost like paralyzed as that child because I had so much fear. And going forth, I always thought health was, about the physical body, which is why I started personal training a little bit, and then I became a chiropractor, and then I got into functional medicine. All those things are really, really important, and it's dedicated to the body. And during chiropractic school, I was lucky enough to be introduced very early on to a way to evaluate the body without asking it any questions necessarily. And it's called muscle testing. I don't know if you've heard of muscle testing. It's a form of kinesiology. I was first trained underneath the principles of Dr. Goodhart through applied kinesiology. And really, muscle testing is a way to challenge the body, specifically the nervous system, which is the main regulator of the body, to see what is affecting it. And when you think about it, kinesiology just works through a muscle test, primarily, foundationally. So we have a straight arm here. Usually the practitioner is pushing down, and they're matching your resistance. And when we're on a strong body, a strong joint, we're gonna have a strong arm. But anytime that something is challenging the body, that influence, if it's strong enough, will actually change the tonality of the muscle. So every stress response gets processed through the nervous system, and if that stress response is strong enough, it will actually create a change in that tonality to protect the body. So a strong arm will actually go weak, or a weak arm, if you're testing, will go strong, which sounds counterintuitive, but that's the foundational basics of muscle testing. And what's fun about muscle testing is that is probably what I attribute most of our business success and actually serving and helping people really probably comes down to our muscle testing. I mean, we have technologies from Russia that we use to evaluate, from Germany that we use to evaluate, from here in the States that we use to evaluate. We do private lab testing with blood work. We do regular, very intensive blood tests through LabCorp request, so we can utilize people's insurances. But all of that is data. And without an evaluation to be able to see how the body's actually going to respond, I take all that data and guess what? I just guess. It's an educated guess. And that's foundationally what medicine is built upon, is trying to make good guesses, which is stupid. It's really stupid, because there's techniques out there in the world of muscle testing that we can take all that data and we can use that data and then challenge the body against that data to see, okay, something's out of range, but is it really a stressor to the body? And if it is a stressor, what's going to reverse that stress response? And that's my favorite thing about muscle testing, is that I'm gonna have a strong arm, and then let's take, have some corn chips here. So let's say gobble, 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 I ate corn chips, and then boom, I'm weak. I have a reaction to corn, and probably honestly I have a reaction to mycotoxins because all corn pretty much has mold, which contains the gassing of mycotoxins. So usually when people have reaction to corn and rice and things, it's not so much with the food, it's actually more of some type of toxin, in this case being mold or fungus. So that's not what this talks about, but I love tangents. So let's say I eat that and my arm's weak. I got a stress response against it. And then it's like, oh crap. So what can I take to be able to reverse that? And as I grab this supplement here, and there's many different ways you can do it. Sublingual, you can hold on to it. There's 1,000 different ways to challenge it. But let's say this is really good for me. Yep, it is good. So it made my arm strong again. This isn't like an actual real test. I'm just making it all up. This is for blood sugar issues. Not really correlated with that at all. Just a demonstration. So don't call me out for it not being a real test. It wasn't a real test. But really what I'm getting at is that if you're going to a practitioner, or if you are a practitioner and they're not using muscle testing, or you're a practitioner that's not using muscle testing, you are making a huge mistake on your ability to better serve your clients in so many different ways. And it's like, you think about it, it's like the foundational of why we do what we do is to help people. And it's like, if there's a technique out there that can get better results in a shorter amount of time, because you don't have to go through and guess, have the person go through a protocol, have them spend time, energy, and money, and maybe that protocol works for one person, but it doesn't work for the other person, because we're all different. We're all individuals. Nobody's built the same. We all have thumbprints that are different. Everything inside of us is different. Most people have anomalies. We're even structurally built different. So it's like being able to literally test exactly protocols, what's going to work for somebody, from supplements, from services, to their diet and nutrition, what foods they should be eating, what foods they should not be eating, to control the inflammatory response, to allow themselves to heal. Like, it's just mind-blowing that people still today don't go get muscle testing. So that's what this tangent is about, is literally to up-level your care. If you're under care with a physician, a primary doc, holistic doctor, whoever it is, there's more and more medical doctors out there that's getting trained in muscle testing, which is amazing, because it really started more with the chiropractors doing it. And now it's branching out because we're getting amazing results. And it's not that we're stealing any clients, it's just that clients aren't getting results, so they're going to somebody that's utilizing systems and techniques that can get good results. So that's my blurb about muscle testing. DM me or chat below if you have any questions.